Hi everybody, welcome to All Oh, hold on a second. Okay, here we go. Hi everybody, welcome to All Games New and Old. I'm David Rodriguez, and today I'm going to be unboxing Marvel United. Everything X-Men, basically. I didn't get the playmat, and I didn't get some of like the upgraded plastic tokens, because you got to draw the line somewhere, and I'll regret that till the day I die. But I have all the boxes here. So if you're watching this right now, this is the video where I'm actually going to go through all of these in one video. If that's not what you want, or you just need more bite-sized chunks, I'm also going to break it down into parts based on each individual box. So if you don't have however long this is going to take to sit through and watch them all, you could do it that way. But either way, this is what I've got. So let's get started. All right, so I've stacked up all the expansion boxes in no particular order. I already did a video of the core box unboxing, which you can look up. I'll try to link that in the notes. But for the expansions, let's start with Deadpool. All right, so here we go. We've got the Deadpool expansion to the X-Men Marvel United. I'm sure a lot of people will be especially excited about this one. It looks crazy, as you would expect from Deadpool. There's a big old boom, there's a unicorn, there's Deadpool, there's Bob, agent of Hydra, there's an arrow going through her heart, all kinds of crazy stuff. Let's see what it says on the back. What you hold in your hands is without a doubt the greatest expansion ever created. I mean, did you see that cover art? Eat your heart out, Roy Lichtenstein. In a rare example of honest advertising, the title says it all. This expansion is all about me, Deadpool, the merc with a mouth. Sidekicks don't count. Let's milk me for all I'm worth. Want to play as Deadpool? You clearly have a refined taste. Want to fight Deadpool? Ill-advised, yes, but I respect your cojones. Just want to add a healthy dose of chaos by having Deadpool crash your games? Hey, what's the worst that could happen? So, let's crack this sucker open and see what we got. Deadpool is one of those characters I didn't get in on it when he first showed up. I believe he showed up in X-Force, and I wasn't really reading X-Force because I really didn't like Rob Liefeld's art very much, and that was like his baby there. So didn't dig that. I think I first saw him on I had a collection of Marvel, like X-Men collectible cards that were drawn by Jim Lee, which is my favorite artist. So I saw him there, and it didn't really indicate on there that he was as goofy as he actually is. I don't know if he was at that time or what, but it was quite a nice surprise, I guess, to find out later that he's awfully silly. I, of course, watched the movies and whatnot. Fun character, as I'm sure you know. All right, so here is our little, I'm guessing little instructions for what this particular one has in it. So that looks cool. It's just one sheet, very simple. Okay, here's a special setup thing. They don't use mission cards in this game. Interesting. So, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so there's a lot happening there, so I'm curious to check that out. Let's move on to this. We have a location, Deadpool's apartment. We've got Bob, agent of Hydra, as a villain, which is pretty cool. All right, let's get that out of the way. Here's all the cards. I'm debating whether or not I want to go through all these or not, because there's going to be an awful lot of cards as I go through and unbox all the different expansions and whatnot. So we'll see. I'm just going to flip through them real fast and see if they look especially bizarre for being Deadpool or anything like that. I don't know that they will, but they could. So we'll find out. Let me unwrap this sucker. I'm going to create quite a mess next to me. So there's all kinds of stuff. Deadpool cards, of course, as you'd expect. Kind of funny images. It's actually all the same picture with like stuff added to it, it looks like. So that's kind of interesting. More Deadpool. Lots of Deadpool. Bob, agent of Hydra, of course. Kingpin, huh? Green Goblin, Taskmaster. I'm not sure how this exactly works out because these specific guys aren't in this box, but you know. So, all right. Here's Bob, agent of Hydra. Lady Deadpool. All right, so let's look at these little models. I think that's probably what most people are excited about. Okie dokie. Let's see if I can figure this all out, because it's going to be kind of weird. All right, so we have, I believe that is regular Deadpool right there. Looks very nice. We have, let's see. It's Bob, agent of Hydra. Very cool. We have another, I think this is the hero version of Deadpool. Another one was the villain. That is a crazy gun. If you ever played Warhammer 40k Orcs, this looks like something they would carry for sure. So, and this is like some kind of weird, I don't know how this works, but some kind of Agent of Chaos sort of version of Deadpool where he can invade your other games. I don't know how that works. I do think it's cool that it actually has a little metal box, though. It's not like just the same plastic as the rest of it. That's pretty neat. And we've got Lady Deadpool, who also looks really awesome. Some people don't like the chibi style, but I do. I think it's really fun. You know, I wouldn't want every single Marvel game to use chibi style, but I think it's really great for this one, and they're kind of adorable. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so, whoops. That is the Deadpool box for Marvel United, the X-Men set. Put all the cards, bring it back together. And there it is, Deadpool from Marvel United. Okay, so that was Deadpool. Let's move on. We have next X-Men Blue Team. Now we're getting into my stuff. This is the stuff that I really loved. I was deep into the comics at the time where they were doing the Blue Team, Gold Team thing, so this is an exciting one to me. All right, it says, getting mutants to work together towards a common goal has always been a challenging task, as Professor X can attest. The X-Men know that standing united is their best bet to defeat the most dangerous villains. Nevertheless, the various hero teams are constantly bickering and competing with each other, with these grievances often escalating to outright violence between them and playing into the hands of the villains. The Blue Team will stop at nothing to make sure they are the ones who bring down the villain, and no one will stand in their way. Very awesome. So, let's pop the sucker open. Let's see what we have inside. I think, I'm trying to remember, it's been a while. I think I was much more of a Blue Team person than a Gold Team person back in the day. But, you know, you couldn't really do wrong with me as far as X-Men go. I was really glad to see that they were going to include X-Men in this because, you know, I was in the comics in the era where the X-Men were the thing and Avengers were not, no one was excited about the Avengers. And that kind of stayed with me. And so now that it's kind of reversed, I mean, I love all the MCU movies. They're fantastic, but oh man, I just want X-Men to get their due. So I'm glad to see that they did this, and I hope it was very successful, and I hope they realize that they need more Marvel or more X-Men stuff. All right, so here's our little rule sheet for this box set. You know, team versus team looks like, so a little bit more rules here for everything. Okay, so I'll see how this all works out. It's interesting because all these sets are a little bit different and they can kind of lock together. Oh, we've got some cool tokens. We have like some weird like DNA strands and some locks. There's an X symbol. I'm not sure how all that plays in, but we will find out. All right, we've got locations here, I believe. Let's see what we have. Oh, the Excalibur Lighthouse. That's cool. I was a big fan of Excalibur when it started up with Chris Claremont writing. He's a fantastic writer. And, you know, eventually I feel like it shifted writers and then I didn't like it as much, but it was still pretty cool. Savage Land, very, very cool. Area where dinosaurs still exist in the Marvel Universe. Madripoor, where Wolverine kills ninjas. I think that's basically it. The Mojoverse. Oh, God. I really always liked it when Mojo showed up in the comic books because he would always capture the X-Men and make them do wacky things to get ratings, because where he's from, power in the world is all based upon what kind of ratings your television programming can get. And my favorite one was when he captured the X-Men and the New Mutants. And I think he made the X-Men start as babies and the New Mutants start as adults, but the X-Men would get older as time went on and the New Mutants would get younger and they had to fight each other. And it was really bizarre, but actually really funny. Anytime we have the X-Babies, it's hilarious. So, all right, let's put those aside. We have our Mr. Sinister character card here with his like a little villain sheet. Fantastic. Oh, this is for the team versus team mode. You have Blue Team and Gold Team. Someone is like mowing their lawn outside, so that's fantastic. Hopefully you won't hear that too much. All right, here's all our cards. I'm just gonna pop these open, see if any of the art's especially interesting. Okay. All right, so got all kinds of different things for the red and gold teams. There's Mr. Sinister's cards. Same art on all his, it looks like. Rogue has a few different things going on, which is great. Rogue, definitely one of my favorite characters. I always like it when she has to absorb the powers of a bunch of different people, and she becomes this weird amalgam of all the different characters. There's Gambit. A lot of people love Gambit. He's pretty cool. Jubilee. To contrast, a lot of people hate Jubilee, and I don't. I always thought she was kind of amusing in the comic. Not very powerful, but, you know, whatever. There's Banshee. Great. Okay. Let's look. Oh, we got some blue and gold rings. I think that's for the team versus team mode. Okay. So let's look at the models here. We have the villain of this set, Mr. Sinister, who's been behind a lot of crazy, shady dealings in the X-Men. I have no idea what his powers are. I don't think I ever knew what his powers were. And I don't know if Marvel knows what his powers are, to be honest. But he's still an enjoyable villain, and he looks cool as hell. This is Psylocke, who is a telepath. And she focuses her telepathic abilities into this psionic blade that she uses on people. When she started in the comics in X-Men, she was a British lady with still telepathic powers, but she didn't have the blade. She had this weird, like, butterfly-looking effect when she used her powers. And then weird things happened, and she became an Asian woman who was a ninja. I don't know how. It just kind of happened. Jubilee, again, I like her more than most people do, I think. But you gotta have the young team members. I don't know if she's still considered young in the comics. I would think not, but regardless. Okay, here we have Gambit, looking really cool. He's like flinging his cards at people. That's great. These would be a blast to paint. I hope I can actually get around to doing it, because it'll be so nice to have these very large features. I also buy the Marvel Crisis Protocol models, which are gorgeous, but very tiny features and all that, so it's a little hard. Here's Rogue, looking awesome. I like that they went with this particular era of some of these characters. And this is probably Banshee, I assume. I thought Banshee was kind of neat. He was never my favorite, but he's all right. Has a sonic scream, can fly. I feel like most of the time when I was reading X-Men, he'd like hurt himself using his powers, so he didn't do a whole lot, but that was that. All right. So that, I'm just gonna slam stuff down, was the X-Men Blue box set. I think I didn't put this in the right way, but you know what? Everything's gonna be fine. It'll all be all right. There it is, X-Men Blue. Okay, let's move on and see what I have next. All right, we have the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Let's check this one out. Here they are in all their glory. We got Apocalypse, and I'm not gonna know who these are. They have Angel, I believe, was Death. He became Archangel. Looks very frightening. I don't remember specifically who each one of these are. I think they were doing their thing in the X Factor comic, which I wasn't really reading. I was mainly reading X-Men. I didn't know about the whole history, so X Factor didn't seem that exciting to me. And I tend to go back and kind of read them all, because I think there might be more there than I originally gave it credit for. I was very early in my comic reading career when all that was going on. Okay, so Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Let's see what it says. After 5,000 years, Apocalypse, the first mutant, has risen again. His plans for the domination and cleansing of the world began with the gathering of his chief lieutenants: famine, war, pestilence, and death. The four horsemen ride by his side, sowing destruction wherever they roam, in a fanatical implementation of survival of the fittest. If no one will stand in their way, then the end times are surely upon us. All right, so let's get into this. This looks like it's all bad guys here, basically, so as you might expect. Let's get this guy open here. If you're just watching this as a single one-off video, I am putting all these together as well. So I'm curious how long this video is going to be. And if anyone's going to watch a video that long, I honestly don't know. So, you know, if people want to cherry pick what they want to see, that's totally awesome. But, you know, I might as well try to put it all together for those who'd want to see everything. All right, here's our booklet about any special rules involving these guys. I'm curious how this goes. I'm guessing you have multiple villains out at a time with them, so that'll be interesting. There's a special setup for these people. They're creepy, man. Some of them. Look at him. Ugh, creepy. All right, anyway. All right, we have a location. Apocalypse's pyramid. Big, ugly version of his face on the front. And Starlight Citadel. I'm actually not too familiar with this spot. I think this is something that I didn't read about, but I'm sure I can figure it out eventually. So there's Apocalypse. Apocalypse, another one of those characters that I feel like his powers just match whatever they need the plot to have him do, much like Mr. Sinister. So that's interesting. All right, let's pop this open. These are all going to be villain cards, I presume. I could be wrong because I have not read the comics in a while. I think I saw that Apocalypse has actually been on one of the X-Men teams lately, which seems insane to me. Oh gosh, this whole like deal of survival of the fittest doesn't seem to fit being a hero very well. And then I don't know. I think it's sometimes kind of nonsense to get some of these characters turning good. But anyway, we have famine, war, pestilence, death, and just a whole bunch of other stuff too. Okay, and different cards here. Not sure how they all work out, but I'm sure it's not too hard to figure out. The nice thing about this game is it's a pretty simple rule set. You know, it's not meant to challenge anyone too severely. So let's see what we got here. This is, I believe, Famine. I thought these are really unusual looking bad guys too. Like, they look so strange when I saw them in the comic books. This one is War. He is a chunky boy, for sure. I like their sort of mechanical or semi-mechanical mounts that they ride. Those are kind of neat. This is Pestilence. She doesn't look very diseasey, but I guess she is. I don't know. Pretty neat though. Okay. We have Death, who Apocalypse turned Angel of the X-Men into this version of him, and he can shoot blades out of his wings. Pretty nasty. Of course, we have the big bad himself, Apocalypse. Again, very powerful. No idea what his powers are. I don't know if I'm going to pull this out. Maybe. I guess there's a little red cube. Not sure why, but I'm sure it'll all make sense eventually. So, there we have it. Put that on there. That is the Horsemen of the Apocalypse set. All right. And there we go. Okay, so let's move on to the next set. All right, this is the Phoenix 5. This is a storyline that I definitely didn't read. I don't know much about what happened here. Maybe this will explain it on the back. Let's see. Shattered, the Phoenix Force possessed some of the world's greatest heroes, consuming them with power and the blind obsession to take control of the world. Cyclops, Emma Frost, Colossus, Magic, and Namor. The Phoenix 5 now stand as a united force that must be taken down at all costs. Somehow, hope persists, with the arrival of Hope Summers. But will it be enough to break through the might of the Phoenix? This would be an interesting storyline to read. I think the Phoenix Force has always been a really interesting thing in X-Men lore, but I don't know much about the story, and I don't know tons about Hope Summers, really, to be honest. I'm kind of aware that she's someone who exists, but that came way after I stopped reading. I'd like to catch up on it, but, you know, it takes time, so we'll see what happens. Well, let's pop this sucker open, and let's see what we've got in this box here. Here we go, I think. We're trying to go. I remember hearing that Hope Summers is very powerful. I don't know, you know, to what extent, but... All right, here is our expansion rules for the Phoenix 5. Neat looking stuff. So here we got some bad guy cards. Namor, Magic, Colossus, Emma Frost. Did I miss one? I guess not. And Cyclops. It's a heck of a nasty team, to be honest. Okay. Let's pop this open. If any of you are particularly a fan of this storyline, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear about it if you don't mind telling me somewhere. So we have Hope Summers cards. Lots of different stuff. Underwater Battlegrounds. I'm curious how that goes. Oh, yeah, there weren't any locations with this one. That's interesting. Okay, so Namor. Limbo Demons. Oh, boy. I don't know how that plays in, but yeah, it's probably got something to do with magic, so. Magic has a lot of her powers. I don't know if it comes from Limbo specifically, but she definitely is tied to that place. There's Colossus. Altered Perceptions, it's Emma Frost. Building a Better World with Cyclops. Okay, and Phoenix Force stuff. So, don't know how it all works out, but looks interesting. Let's take a look at these characters because they look pretty cool. All right, we have Hope Summers here. She's got her gun, very action pose. Pretty cool. Let's get that in there, I don't know. All right, we have Cyclops looking much more badass than usual. We have, let's see. I think this is Emma Frost. I'm not totally sure, but I think so. Just by process of elimination, looking at the others. I think that's Emma Frost, who's one of my favorite characters. Again, don't know about her in this storyline, but should be cool. Here is Colossus, everyone's favorite Man of Steel. Looking mean and tough as ever. We have Magic, who's a character I really like. Excellent seeing Magic in this game. All right, and this one's especially cool. He's not my favorite character, but Namor looks great because he's on like a clear plastic wave, which is pretty cool. I like it when they mix stuff up that way. It does make it kind of harder for painting though if you want to do that, because you can't just spray prime these guys very easily unless you use something to cover up the parts that you don't want to spray, but that could be a challenge, and you gotta watch out for getting paint on that clear part as well. But, you know, it can be done. Will I do it? I don't know, but it can be done. So that's something. Okay, I'm probably not supposed to put that there. All right. So, there you have it, folks. The Phoenix 5 box. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay. So this is from one of the best known X-Men storylines, Days of Future Past. Very different. They have this whole alternate future where the X-Men are mostly decimated, with very few remaining. This says, in a dark alternate future, an army of gargantuan sentinel robots are systematically hunting down mutant kind. Cold and calculating, these giants adapt to each new strategy the heroes devise. But an even greater danger lies ahead, as Nimrod, an extremely advanced new sentinel prototype, is being activated. Okay, let's get in. Oh, I don't want to use that. That's boring. Let's get into that with this. So I'm going to have to look at these closely, because one thing I heard, some people had trouble where their sentinels showed up broken. I don't know exactly why that is, but I'm going to hope that didn't happen to me. We're going to find out. We're going to find out what happens here. All right. So let's pull this off here. I remember reading the Days of Future Past storyline, and it's a very interesting storyline. What's weird is at the time, I didn't like reading alternate reality stuff very much. I was kind of strange that way, but it is a great story. I've gone back and read it since and liked it quite a lot. Okay, so here's our little rule booklet for this particular box. Much like the others, it's just a couple pages long. We have some Sentinel tokens. I don't know exactly how those work, but they do. All right, here's some stuff for the Sentinels and for Nimrod. I always thought Nimrod was a terrible name because I believe that is a name that people use to call other people stupid. I could be wrong, but I believe I've heard that used as an insult. So I don't know. I always had trouble taking Nimrod seriously as a bad guy, even though he was very dangerous. Just because of his silly name, it'd be like if he was named Idiot or something to me. But I don't know if that's actually even accurate, if I just like made that up in my head. But let's see. Some challenge stuff, Sentinel protocols. There's Nimrod. And we have Logan down here. So kind of the future version of Wolverine. Let me pull this off here. And we're going to hope. So far, they don't look broken, but we're going to take a closer look. So let's take a look at the hero in this box. There's Logan, looking like a badass. You know, kind of normal clothes Logan, older Logan. Like that, though. Here is Nimrod that I mentioned. There was a storyline where he became this other guy named Bastion. He was like Nimrod in disguise, and I really actually liked that whole storyline quite a lot. All right, let's look at these big Sentinels. Holy smokes. They are big, chunky robots, and I absolutely love it. You almost don't get cooler than the big giant Sentinels, which is another bad guy I didn't like when I was a kid very much, just because, you know, they don't have personality themselves for the most part, but I like them as a sort of ever-present threat, especially in games with miniatures. I use that term loosely in this case. They're pretty cool. I really like these guys. They're big. They're in cool poses. Can't go wrong with that. So, there we have it. I'll put all this back together. Everything is intact, which is fantastic. That was the only thing I was worried about, but that is the Days of Future Past box. Okay, let's move on to the next one. All right, here we go. So here we have the X-Men Gold Team expansion for Marvel United. So when I did the Blue Team one, I mentioned that when these teams were, what they were doing, Gold Team, Blue Team, I was more a Blue Team guy, but I did like the Gold Team as well. So let's flip this over and see what it says in the back. The challenge for mutants has always been unification. Unification with regular humans, unification with mutants of different ideologies, and even unification with fellow mutant heroes. While the power of the villainous Hellfire Club is a threat to humans and mutants alike, the Gold Team is also contend with the rivalry of other X-Men teams. So, there you go. If I remember right, I think Storm was the leader of the Gold Team, and I think she was in the base X-Men Marvel United set. So she won't be in this box, I do not believe. But she's still in the game. All right, let's pop this sucker open here. Okay, let's take the lid off here. And it's got one of my favorite villains in this box too, so I'm excited about that. All right, here is our pamphlet, a little small rule booklet about the expansion. Like most of the others, just a couple pages, which is great. This is going to have, I think, more stuff for the gold versus blue team idea that the blue team box had. Some same tokens here, some locks, X symbol, crossed out BAMs. Let's look at the locations that come with this. I'm curious about that. Okay. Oh, we got the Hellfire Club building. That makes sense. Limbo, which is kind of this weird, almost hell-like place. Krakoa, that's the living island, I believe. Chandelar, a Shi'ar Empire place. Okay, interesting, cool, okay. I wouldn't have remembered Chandelar, to be honest with you. I know that was a thing when I read, but it would have been a bit ago. All right, Sebastian Shaw card here. Tell you all his deal. And we've got, this is going to be for the gold versus blue team mode, I believe. So I don't know how that works out, but I'm sure we'll figure out. We have these gold and blue rings, again, for that sort of versus mode type thing they have going on. Which I wish I had time to go through and play all these in quick order, but I probably won't. But hopefully I get through some of them, give them a try, put them through their paces. I'm very curious about it. It's amazing that in a game so simple, they can actually make the heroes and villains feel different from each other, but they do. So there is our Sebastian Shaw cards. He's the big bad in this box. Oh, we've got some other ones too. I didn't realize that. Oh gosh, we have other Hellfire Club members in here. That's great. Okay, so White Queen, White King, White Rook, Black Queen, Black Bishop, Black Rook. Awesome stuff. Colossus, Iceman, Archangel, Bishop, and Forge. All right. Let's look at these models, shall we? Okay. We've got Sebastian Shaw. Really like him as a bad guy. He's very clever and cunning, and what he does is he absorbs kinetic energy. So if you hit him, or hit him with force of any kind, he'll absorb that and it'll only make him stronger. So you have to use other tactics against him. This is Bishop. He absorbs energy and rechannels it back at people. Never got into Bishop. He was in the era where people just showed up with guns and pouches, and that was not my thing. Same reason I don't like Cable all that much, I think. But, you know, he's fine. All right. We have Archangel here in a cool pose, taking off. Archangel was really cool. He was so much cooler than when he was just Angel and was just a guy with wings. Like, that's great, but it's not very threatening on its own. Here's Colossus. Looking great. We have Forge, who is an interesting character. Was he really an X-Men Gold? I don't know, but he can basically invent anything, which seems very powerful, but he's not too powerful sitting there in a fist fight necessarily. And then here's Iceman. They did a cool thing here where they made it out of a sort of semi-transparent plastic, which is neat. Very fitting of the character. And this one you probably don't even have to paint, although I might add a little bit of like white dry brushing in spots to give it like a more of a frosty look, perhaps, if I ever actually get around to painting it, which is always the question because I love it, but it takes time and I have very little of that. So we will see. So that's that. I'm curious how this gold versus blue team thing goes. I think that'd be really interesting, but that is the X-Men Gold team. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, here we go. X-Men First Class. Here we have like the early days X-Men, basically. We have the original team and the original costumes, and we have Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch as bad guys, which is how they started. They started off in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. All right, so it says, in a time where mutants were first coming to the light, Charles Xavier gathered the most promising of these outcasts and created the first class of his special school for gifted youngsters. Through much hardship and excruciating training, these youngsters were shaped into the first team of mutant heroes, the X-Men. Their training is about to be put to the test against the combined forces of the Maximoff twins. Excellent. Love it. All right, so let's pop this sucker open. I, a while back, started to go back and read all the X-Men comics, starting from like the very first #1 issue, which I had not read before. And wowie, some of the writing in those old issues is interesting, to say the least. Writing got better over the years, I'll just say that. But it was fun. It was fun to check it out and see those early days, even though it's very dated form of storytelling at this point. Still enjoyed it. All right, here is our rules pamphlet. This is just one sheet, which makes me think there's not a lot of twists to things in here. We'll see. Oh, we have a danger room. I guess it's sort of location. That's a smaller version. We've got some, looks like snowflake things. Okay, so here's our regular size locations. Let's see what this is. Island M, I'm assuming that's Magneto's. Cape Citadel, vaguely remember that. I think that's the place that Magneto attacked early on, I'm not sure. Xavier Skulls for gifted youngsters, that had to be a location in here somewhere. So we have Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, it looks like you fight them together, which makes some sense. And you know, in those early comics, it was kind of interesting because Scarlet Witch was, you know, she's in the Brotherhood, but she was almost always like, oh, I don't know if we should be doing this. I don't know if we should. So she was very conflicted about being a bad guy the whole time, but Magneto was written in such a way where he was very domineering and kind of over the top, to be honest, in those early days. The other thing that's always kind of funny is, one thing I like about, I'm going to call him Magneto because I can't stand saying Magneto. I know it's technically wrong. I've ranted about it before. But anyway, one thing that is interesting about him is that, you know, one of the things that people love about him is that he is a bad guy who feels like he is doing what is right. And I think that's very true, but it's still kind of strange that he started off calling his group the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, because, you know, he doesn't think that. All right, so there's Cyclops, Marvel Girl, also known as Jean Grey. Okay, Iceman. Okay, well, I should have known that's where the Frost tokens were from. I don't know exactly what he does, but I'm sure it has some kind of cool effect. There's Beast. Oh, I like that his little picture up here is upside down because he can hang off things really well because he's extremely agile. There's Angel. And then here's some of your bad guy stuff with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Very cool. Okay. There's some little cards down here, so I'm curious what these are. These all say training on them. Really careful with this. This one's very tight. Yeah, I don't know what these do, how they play in exactly. Okay, so I'll kind of discard some permanent effect things. Interesting. Well, let's see how that works out. But let's look at the characters. All right, we have Scarlet Witch, who has long been one of my favorite Avengers, but of course, again, here, she is a bad guy. Quicksilver, who has long been one of my least favorite Avengers, to be honest with you. He's always seems like such a pain in the ass. I just never liked the character, but they've done him really well in the movies, so that's nice. We got Cyclops. I always found him so stuffy and dull, but I think they've done more stuff with him lately. His power was cool, but, you know, that's about it. So we have Marvel Girl here. I wonder how many versions of Jean Grey we have across this whole thing, because she's done a lot. We have Beast before he was blue and furry. And regular Angel before he had bladed wings. And here's Iceman. So they use a regular plastic on this one rather than going with the clearish plastic, but that's still pretty cool. All right, well, there it is. That is X-Men. Wow, first class. What am I doing wrong here? Am I putting these in the wrong way? This doesn't look like it should go this way. I don't know. Anyway, okay, sure. We're just gonna go with that. I don't remember what I did 5 minutes ago. You can't expect me to. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The Fantastic Four. This is definitely the weirdest thing to have included in the giant bunch of X-Men things, and I'm guessing it's just, you know, they wanted to fit it in with the other things that they just barely could score the license to. There's all kinds of weird shenanigans with Sony and Marvel, and I don't know what the status is of a lot of this, except I know they're making a Fantastic Four movie. So there's that. It's odd. I was never a big collector of Fantastic Four, but I always just sort of enjoyed them existing in the Marvel Universe. I don't know why. Like this family of superheroes that were kind of, you know, openly superheroes. I just kind of dug them. I'm not even sure what it is, but something about them just always seemed sort of special to me, even if I wasn't always into their books. And of course, Dr. Doom, honestly, one of the greatest villains ever. So let's see what it says on the back here. When a cosmic radiation incident transformed Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm into the Fantastic Four, one of the greatest hero teams was born. Standing together through thick and thin, they will unite forces with the Cosmic Silver Surfer to fight the devious Super Skrull and stand against the mystical and technological terror of Dr. Doom. Awesome. Okay. Well, let's dig into this and see what we have. Okay. I'm going to have so much plastic throw away when I'm done unboxing all this crazy stuff, for sure. All right, so let's lift this off of here. Oh boy, a little bit more disarray than usual. Let's see, we've got their rule thing right here. This is just a two-page sheet, or two-sided sheet, so I'm guessing not a lot of extra rules here, which is fine. We've got some special Doom tokens, it looks like, and some KO things. Let's look at the locations. We have the Baxter Building, that is the Fantastic Four's home base. Latveria, which is Dr. Doom's country that he runs. 4 Yancey Street, I can't remember what the significance is. Is that where the thing lives? I'm not sure. Anyway, Mount Wendigore. I'm even less confident I know what that is, but that's okay. All right. So we have Dr. Doom, who is amazing. He's good at everything. The only problem is he's super arrogant, which is usually his downfall. And we have Super Skrull, who is a Skrull, as you might have guessed, and has the powers of all the Fantastic Four, which is a problem for the Fantastic Four. All right, let's pop into here. Oh, I see some cool looking stuff here. All right, I'm gonna open up this thing. One of these days I'm gonna be using that. I'm gonna stab myself right on film, and I'll decide whether I need to keep going or just, immediately stop. I'm not sure. Could go either way. All right. So we got Reed Richards himself, Mr. Fantastic. He's got stretchy powers. Invisible Woman. You can turn invisible, of course, and do all kinds of force field shenanigans. Human Torch. He's fiery. The Thing. Big guy made of orange rocks. Very strong. Fights the Hulk a lot. Almost never wins. Silver Surfer. Lots of cosmic powers. To be honest, I find him frankly a kind of corny gimmick, but yeah, he's cool in a way. So, Dr. Doom. Looking all doomy. And a card that says Fantastic Four. I don't know what the significance of that is, but there probably is some significance. Let's take a look at this deck here. All right. So Dr. Doom he's extremely good at science and sorcery, and that makes him pretty formidable. He's taken on very powerful beings in the Marvel Universe and won. So he's something to be dealt with. Brutal Takeover and Super Skrull cards, of course. And Dr. Doom cards, as you might expect. Okay, very good. Let's look at the models. We have Mr. Fantastic. It's a cool model, but it's also super weird. Like, he looks so kind of bizarre. It's creepy. So anyway, but that's okay. We have, here we are. Invisible Woman. I kind of like that she's, hold on. I kind of like that her leg, one of her legs is partially invisible. I like it when they do this thing, when they mix the plastics like that. Very neat. I've heard various comic writers refer to her as like one of the most powerful people in the Marvel Universe, but you hardly ever see that being the case, so I don't know. Interesting. Okay, we have the Human Torch, which is cool. He has like kind of a lot of lines on him. It's hard to tell probably in this light, but it kind of almost makes him look like he's some kind of weird furry person, to be honest with you, but it's still really cool. I like that. All right, we have the Thing, who always has this fun, weird attitude that, I don't know, he talks like someone out of the 1940s or something, I'm not sure, but still, really like him for a big, strong guy. We have the Silver Surfer on his silver surfboard because, surfing was the thing probably when they wrote this. Not the thing, but you know what I mean. All right. Dr. Doom, and I believe in their purple they can be used as a hero or a villain. I'm not totally sure if I'm remembering that right, but that's interesting. I don't usually think of Dr. Doom being heroic unless it specifically suits him, but maybe that's what's going on. And here we have the Super Skrull. Talk about mixing plastics. You have, the Thing powers, and he's got the invisible stuff going on, and fiery legs, all kinds of stuff. So excellent work on that one. And that's it. There you have it. That is the Fantastic Four set. Again, kind of an unusual one to fit when everything else is X-Men, but I'm glad they made it in one way or the other. And I'm not too shocked that they kind of waited to do it with the X-Men set, because they're not going to do a whole big release of just Fantastic Four. There's not probably quite as much. So, all right. There we have it. Okay, let's move on to the next one, shall we? All right, it's X-Force. This team kind of showed up to take the place of the New Mutants book. It was drawn by Rob Liefeld, who is a good artist if you don't look closely. I think that's my opinion anyway. I don't like his art very much when you start really looking at the details. They're real weird sometimes, especially his feet. I don't think he ever drew feet well. And he really likes pouches and guns, which is fine, but you know, that's not why I read X-Men comics. But nonetheless, I do think the team has got some cool stuff in it. So let's take a look at the back of this. So let's see, it says, created by Cable as the remnants of the New Mutants, X-Force is unlike other X-Men teams who focus on reacting to villain schemes and protecting the innocents. Following Cable's philosophy of get them before they get you, the X-Force is an aggressive team who actively attacks evil mutants every chance they get. Pulling together the powers of an eclectic group of mutants, they could deal with any challenge that comes their way. I bet. All right, let's open this sucker up and let's take a look at what we have here. They're basically the edgier X-Men team, essentially, which, you know, they came out at a time when everything was kind of getting edgy in comics, and so I guess they wanted a team to fit with that, and that's where we got X-Force from. It sounds like maybe I'm being down on X-Force, and I don't mean to, because I do think that they're cool at this point. It just took me a while to enjoy what they had going on. Specifically, I think it took Rob Liefeld getting away from it. I really have a thing, as you can tell. Okay, so their rules pamphlet is just a double-sided thing, so nothing too crazy going on in here as far as extra rules. Let's take a look at the locations. I don't know if we'll know the locations for X-Force very well, to be honest with you, but Murder World. Oh yeah, that is the Villain Arcades thing. He creates a theme park that is designed to kill superheroes. Strife Secret Base. Strife is an interesting one. Morlock Tunnels, where a group of mutants who were completely shunned by society because they often did not look very good, ended up living. Adirondack Mountains. I don't know what goes on there, but something surely does. Okay, so here is our Strife villain card. And if I remember right, Strife is like basically a clone of some sort of Cable. I don't know if that's quite right. He might be like a different version, or I'm not sure how they're connected other than they at least look identical. So again, not the best of my New Mutants knowledge, so I take everything I say with a grain of salt as far as that goes. Let's look at some of the cards over here. We have our Strife cards. These are Big Bad. Domino. Domino is a really cool character design. I really like her a lot. I think her deal is isn't she just like really lucky or something? I don't remember. She has some kind of bizarre power like that, but she's awesome. Cannonball can fly through the air like a rocket and is pretty invincible while he's doing so, but he doesn't have amazing control over where he goes. Shatterstar. Oh boy, he's from the Mojoverse like Longshot is, who I'm more familiar with, but I don't know if anyone else is. But he's like, you know, edgelord version of that. And here's Cable, being all pouchy and gunny. Pouches and guns, and a glowing eye, pouches and guns. That's Cable for you. All right. I'm probably making somebody really mad, sorry. All right, Strife. Here he is. He has a lot of crazy armor on him. That's Strife's deal as far as his look goes. We have Shatterstar, looking all mean and angry. We have Cable, lots of pouches and guns. And here's Domino, if I can get her out. Let's see. Domino's neat. All right, I do like Domino quite a lot. And then we have Cannonball blasting through the air. Pretty neat overall. So, all right. That is our X-Force box. A lot of fun stuff in there. Not necessarily my favorite X-related thing, but I do still like them. So, there we go. All right, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Okay, I'm gonna be unboxing the big box of extras here too, but let's go ahead and do these little ones first. So, I'm gonna use the X-Acto on these guys to get them open because I don't think the pizza cutter is gonna really fit. We'll cut into here. So this is our Old Man Logan special model. I think it's funny when they have the extras and there's like 2 that they don't fit into the extras box. That was the case with the previous series of them too. I just think that's weird. Like you probably knew you were going to do this, so why not just have it be so you can have them in the box? I don't get it, but whatever, it's fine. All right, so there is Old Man Logan. So there's a lot of comics with him, and if you saw the movie Logan, you're getting a chunk of it there. That was a great movie. I'm not going to spoil it, but it gets you right in the feels. I'll say that. And of course, that movie you also get introduced to X-23. I don't know if I can get this deck open very well here. But if you haven't seen Logan because some of the quality of some of the other X-Men movies scared you off, I recommend checking it out because it's a shining star in the comic book movies. So there he is. He's Logan. He's old. He's still got his claws. Pretty awesome overall. So nothing too crazy there though. Obviously, it's just a little single character box. Let's look at this version of Storm. It's a Mohawk Storm. That's pretty cool. Now, at least when she started having a mohawk in the comic, she had lost her powers. And as you know, when you lose your powers, the first thing you want to do is get a haircut. So she did. I don't think that's actually the story behind it, but she did get a haircut and she did get a mohawk. And what was odd in the comic is Storm had kind of taken Kitty Pryde under her wing because Kitty Pryde was very young at the time. And she was very upset about this haircut. I didn't remember that until I started rereading recently. She was very upset because she thought Storm was becoming a different person than who she knew. She didn't like that very much, which is sort of weird, I think. But it was a weird thing. I was like, I don't know. I don't really understand why she cares that much, but whatever, sure. But yeah, she had this whole period where she was leading the Morlocks, and she had to fight their current leader to do it, and she didn't have her powers, or she didn't use her powers. I don't remember exactly what order things were in, but here's some of the Storm cards. When I get to the big box, I don't think I'm going to go through all the cards because there are so many in there, and that will take a long, long time. And I don't think anybody really wants to do it because we're not paying a ton of attention to what the cards do anyway. So there is a Mohawk Storm, and this one she does have her powers. You see electricity kind of blasting off around her feet. So this is a part of the timeline where she had both the Mohawk and the powers. Okay, so let's do the big box. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to zoom the camera out just a bit to get this all in screen here, I think. Wowie, there's a lot. And I will tell you this, there's gonna be characters in here that I don't know the names of off the top of my head because that's a lot of characters, and some of them came at times that I'm not as knowledgeable about. But I'll tell you what I do know, and maybe I can kind of reference here if I'm not sure, so I can tell you guys. So this doesn't have any kind of story thing on the back. It just has pictures of the huge amount of characters that are in here. So let's get this gigantic box open and start digging through here and looking at all these crazy, crazy promo characters they have. All right. I'm betting this lid is going to be something to try to pry off of here. We're going to see how it goes. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought. It is coming. I love this big picture here with all of them somehow crammed in there. That can't be easy to do. Oh my gosh. This is so hard. Okay, we're getting there though. We are getting there. Ooh, we're zooming right in on Jean Grey's face. There she is. Oh, okay. Very cool. All right. And now inside here, there's of course another box. So I'm gonna pull that out. Oh boy. So here's all the cards down here at the bottom. Here, I'll look at these the villain ones. Toad, Blob, and Pyro. Spiral. Spiral's awesome. I always like that character design. She's so crazy. Silver Samurai. Shadow King. Sauron. Onslaught. Omega Red. Namor. Mojo. Mastermind. There's so many Marrow. Oh, Marrow. Yeah, I mean, she wasn't super nice, I guess, but Legion, Lady Deathstrike, Emma Frost. I like that Emma Frost is a bad guy and a good guy. Deathbird. Deathbird's cool. Dark Phoenix, my favorite villain ever, probably. No, one of them, though. Callisto, that is the leader of the Morlocks that Storm had to defeat. The Brood Queen, ew. Avalanche, and Arcade. Fantastic stuff. So yeah, I'm not going to go through all these cards because I don't think that'll be very exciting to watch, to be honest with you. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pop this sucker back on here. And what I'll do, I'm going to turn this over so I can reference the back. If I'm not sure what hero someone is, and maybe I can check there and figure it out. We'll see. May not work as well as I think it will. So, all right, here's the models though. Let's take a peek at these guys because I think this is what most people are excited about if they signed up to get this. Is all the crazy models. Oh my goodness, there's a lot. Bear with me. We're gonna try to get through this. Okay, and hopefully I'll get some of these right more than wrong, but we'll see. So we have Avalanche, who I believe was in the Freedom Force, which sounds like a good guy team, but it's not. Deathbird, sort of like the assassin of the Shi'ar Empire. She's pretty brutal. We have, I forget what station he was in the Hellfire Club, but he is actually Mastermind. And he had a big part in turning Phoenix into Dark Phoenix because he really messed with her head. This is Callisto, I believe. And, oh. Lady Deathstrike. Claws aren't super long on here, but I guess that would be kind of hard to do without them being really easily broken. Shadow King, Professor X's arch nemesis specifically. We have, oops. Silver Samurai. I haven't read a lot of stories of Silver Samurai, but I know he's mixed up with Logan Wolverine quite a bit. Omega Red, he has these crazy coils and a death pheromone, so it actually starts killing you when you're close to him, which is sounds dangerous. Arcade always has great stories. He's not very powerful himself, but he manages to trap people nonetheless and use them to sort of entertain himself. We have Sauron, not from Lord of the Rings. I think he drains, God, what does he do? He drains energy out of people or something, like he feeds off of them. But he was like a scientist until he became this pterodactyl type person. We have Pyro, who has control over fire and is quite a pyromaniac, appropriately enough. We have Toad, who is very agile and has a long, disgusting tongue, so that's exciting. And the Blob, who is immovable and quite strong. All right, one of my favorite villains, Mojo. He rules a world where your power is based on what kind of TV ratings your station can get. And he always gets the best ratings. That's why he always kidnaps the X-Men and whatnot. We have the Brood Queen. The Brood are nasty aliens, very much like the Alien and Aliens movie, but they can kind of take over your body, sort of. It's interesting. Onslaught. This was an interesting storyline. Onslaught was a weird blend of Magneto, I hate saying Magneto and Professor X. And one of the greatest villains of all time, Dark Phoenix. And again, I love that they mix the plastic on here with like the fiery Phoenix behind her. That is so cool. Love it. All right, next tray. Oh, okay. All right, here's where I'm gonna start getting into trouble because there are so many characters here that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to name them all for you. So we're gonna see. So we have Legion, Professor X's son. He has incredible telepathic power, but he's very mentally unstable. There's a pretty cool show about him. I didn't watch it all, but I did enjoy it. It was called Legion. Amazing. We have Emma Frost. She's purple because she can be a good guy or a bad guy. She's been both in her long career. I like her as both, honestly, which is great, because a lot of times when they do that, I vastly prefer one or the other. We have Marrow, who grows sharp bone spurs out of her body at random and can pull them out and use them to hurt people. She really injured Logan once with those early on, which was shocking. We have the six-armed Spiral, who is sort of like Mojo's bodyguard. Now, they have her as purple, so I guess she could be a hero. I didn't really read any stories where she was a hero, but, you know, I have not read all the stories because there's quite a lot. We have Namor, who can be a hero or villain, because he did a lot of both of those things in the comics. Okay, now, this, I believe, is Magic, Colossus' sister. She can create portals. I think you have to go through Limbo in them. I'm not sure, but she's very tied to Limbo, which is sort of like this weird hell-like dimension. We have Sunspot, who has a lot of fire powers. Or no, he's not really, I'm sorry, I don't think he has fire powers. He's like, he looks like he'd have fire powers, but I think he's like super strong, but not invulnerable or something like that. I don't know, it was weird. Also, sorry if you can hear the lawnmower in the background, but there's a lawnmower in the background, you know? I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes it goes that way. Here is a Warlock. He's got this weird techno-virus thing, and it's real weird. Honestly, I'm not sure I can explain it in any normal way. He's a bizarre-looking character and always has been, but that is him. This is Mirage of the New Mutants. I, for the life of me, can't remember what her power is, but she might be the one that can make you see your greatest fear, but I'm not sure that that's right. We have Wolfsbane of the New Mutants. She is kind of like a, sort of like a werewolf character, basically, but very, like, at least early on, a very sweet, innocent person who just gets caught up with having mutant powers and was chased out of her town because they thought she was like in league with the devil or something. Here we have Havoc, who is Cyclops' in my opinion, cooler brother, who can shoot plasma blasts out of his hands, but he cannot control how powerful they are, really, or he cannot make them not deadly. So it's dangerous. His powers and Cyclops' powers can't hurt each other. So, like, the brothers can't hurt the brothers. Here we have Madrox, the Multiple Man. He can split himself into many different copies of himself, which is useful. This is Polaris. Much like Magneto, she has powers over metal. She's a master of magnetism. For a while, they're saying that she was Magneto's daughter, and then they're saying she wasn't. I don't know where they left off with that, but maybe she is. She at least has the same powers. Here's Strong Guy. He is a strong guy. I don't know tons about his backstory, to be honest with you, but he's a strong dude. Okay, we have Boom Boom, who has powers kind of similar to Jubilee in a way. It's almost sort of fireworky stuff, but a little bit more explosive, I guess. So that's Boom Boom. All right, I think this is Blank, who I think showed up in the Age of Apocalypse storyline. So she was like an alternate timeline person, but I think they integrated her into the normal timeline. I'm not sure. Here is Firestar, who I think was in this like Spider-Man and Friends cartoon back in the day, and I don't know how much she's actually done in the comic books. I feel like I haven't seen her a lot in comics, but she has been there. I just don't know exactly where. All right, here is a Warpath. I know he's super strong. I'm not sure what else he has going on. I think he was one of the people at X-Force. I'm not totally sure about him. All right, here's a character I know nothing about. He is Phantom X. I know absolutely nothing about him. Looks cool, but that's all I can really tell you about that. All right, here is Feral. She was an X-Force. Kind of like Wolfsbane, but a much more savage individual, I would say. Okay, let's move this aside. Okay, so here we go. So there's a couple spots here. I wonder if that's where you put the ones in the little white boxes. I wonder why they didn't just put them in there, if that's the case. That's weird. So we will see. We'll figure that out, hopefully. Here is Kitty Pryde. Absolutely love it that they have her stepping through a wall, show off her powers of being able to phase through things and flight. And if she touches electronics, she will basically fry them. So, and she has a pet dragon who is right here named Lockheed. So he's always fun. All right, we've got Nightcrawler, who looks like a demon but can teleport around. I believe as long as, I don't remember if this area has to be within sight, or if he just keeps it within sight so that way he knows he's not teleporting into a wall or a person, because I remember that being a possibility. I don't know how this got in there, but okay, we'll figure that out. Okay. This looks like, I'm pretty sure it's Captain Britain, who is in Excalibur. He did stuff before that, but I mainly know him from the first run of Excalibur. So, flight, super strength, that sort of fun thing. He is Psylocke's brother. At least while she's British, he is. I don't know what happens once she becomes Asian. It's very confusing. All right, here is the Rachel Summers Phoenix. She was Jean Grey's daughter in another timeline, I believe. I think from the Age of Apocalypse. I'm not sure if I got that right, but always liked her. All right, here we have Dupe. And I'm very familiar with the character design, but I don't know anything about Dupe. He looks like a weird little lima bean. I'm not sure what the deal is, but he's hilarious looking, so that's fun. All right, we have Gwenpool, because there has to be a Gwen everything. Gwen, I assume Gwen Stacy version of Deadpool, or they just like the name Gwen, but don't know how that came to be, but there she is. She's fun. All right, here is Dagger of the Cloak and Dagger comics. They are mutants, but they never really seem to tie them into the X-Men very much, at least not while I was reading. But I believe she has some light powers. And then here is Cloak. God, I don't remember. He had some kind of like portal thing with his cloak. I'm not sure if I really remember, but pretty cool. This is Longshot, who is related to Shatterstar from X-Force. He has incredible luck, so he's very likely to hit things when he throws like his blades at them. But yeah, very lucky. Not actually technically a mutant, if I remember right. I think he has hollow bones as well. Okay, this is Sunfire, who I feel like was always invited to join the X-Men and then never did. He probably did later on, but he's got, you know, flames going on there. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so on to Weapon X. This is another version of Wolverine when he was in that Weapon X program. There's a lot going on there. I don't know if I can recount any of it, to be honest with you. So there's that. Okay, this is X-23, who is, I think she's Wolverine's daughter. I'm not sure if that's totally right, but I don't know why the flames are there, but I don't know if she has any kind of flame thing going on, but neat character though. I want to know more about X-23 actually. Here we have Dazzler, who was in the X-Men team when I first started reading X-Men. She can convert sound in the area to light, including making strong lasers and photon blasts. She started off as this weird disco rollerblading character, which is insane, but I didn't know her about that until quite a bit later. So I always thought she was cool, and then I found out she has this weird, bizarre, silly past, but you know, I think she's still cool. Okay, here's a character I know almost nothing about as well. Pixie, I don't remember ever seeing her in the X-Men. I'm sure she was there, probably after I read, or maybe in some other like book that I wasn't reading at the time, but either way, it's fun character design, so that's cool. Here is Northstar from Alpha Flight. I, for the life of me, cannot tell you what this person's powers are. I never really read a lot of Alpha Flight. I read a little bit of it. I read the things where they show up in X-Men, but I never read the comic book too much, so I just don't remember what they have going on. Here is Sasquatch from Alpha Flight. I did think it was kind of a bummer that they never really got like the love they deserved, I think. So it didn't seem like it. This is Puck from Alpha Flight. He's kind of like a very acrobatic, kind of little guy. I don't know if he's, I think he might be super strong too, but I'm not certain. Here is Guardian of Alpha Flight. I'm not going to know these Alpha Flight powers, unfortunately. I'm just not. So there's that. And then finally, here is Snowbird of Alpha Flight. So, my goodness, it's been a journey to get through everything. But there you have it. That was the X-Men Marvel United promo box. All those crazy models. Didn't open the cards, but I think the models are what people are probably most excited about anyway. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit like and subscribe and click the little bell icon so you can know about the next time I put out a video. Otherwise, look forward to seeing you all around the table again at All Games New and Old. Bye. If you liked that video, you have no idea how much I respect your wise and intelligent opinion. And you might like this video.
Or this one.
Either way, if you want to go ahead and click this button to subscribe, we'd really appreciate it.
We'll see you around the table.
Bye.
Bye.